Okay, so today's project is I made this cutting board in a seventh grade. So that was, oh, 25, 27 years ago. And it's gotten a lot of use, so we're going to try to refinish it and try to bring it back to some sort of former glory, or probably better than I made it in the first place. There's a lot of knocks in it, a lot of dings in it, a lot of banging on it. Looks like it's been used for more than just cutting foods. I'm going to assume that that has something to do with my pop, since I made this for my mom. It's probably why the surface is all dinged up. I'm sure Dad was up to something that he shouldn't have been on my cutting board. So we've got some pock marks and some big deep rivets, or holes, divots, that I'm going to put a little wood glue in before we start the sanding down to try to get that sand to the sawdust to pick up with that glue. And then hopefully we'll end up with a pretty nice looking cutting board. Let's get started. So you can see that the cutting board's in pretty bad shape. It's really dinged up. It's really dried out. Lots of divots and lots of scratches. So and it's just really dried out. So first thing to do is to put some glue in all the little divots, with the idea of the sanding will create sawdust that'll meet with the glue and create its own filler. So I'm going to go after it to begin with some 80 grit sandpaper, and then work my way up through the grits. So the idea here is just create as much sawdust as possible to mix with that glue to act as a filler, and that worked really well. Now it's just squaring up the edges. The thing had been wet and dry, wet and dry, wet and dry over 2 decades or more. So the edges really need to be squared up. They're a little swollen, a little out of alignment. So this gives those nice crisp edges with those nice crisp corners. And the chamfers on the edges were also really swollen and out of shape. So I went after them with a router. Note to self, clamp it down better next time. That thing just wanted to walk all over the place. But this created some good 45 degrees. You could do it with sandpaper if you don't have a router. I had a router, so it was easier to do it this way. Now it's just more sanding and sanding and sanding and just working my way up through the grits. I made this as a gift for my mom many, many years ago, and she specifically asked to see if I could bring it back and make it look nice again. So I was really, this is not a long project. Overall, from beginning to end, actual work time, this project only took about an hour. There was some time in between steps because of letting things seep in and dry, which you'll see in just a minute. But really, now I'm just trying to get it as smooth as possible. And every time I touch it, I'm closing my eyes to make sure that it's smooth. Sometimes when you look, you can get the lines will give you a false reading. So closing your eyes and touching it will let you know that, oh, it is smooth or it isn't smooth if you can't feel the lines. Mom had complained that the board had a tendency to walk around, so I put some little rubber feet on there. Super cheap rubber feet that you can buy anywhere. And now I'm putting on the butcher block oil. In the video here, I only show one application, but it literally took 7 or 8 applications. The idea here is that you're supposed to wipe off the excess. It took 7 or 8 applications just to get the excess, so just because it was so dry. And then now I'm applying the cream. The cream went on really easy. This is just a 2-stage for a butcher block or a cutting board. So the cream went on extremely easy, and but there was a lot of leftover, so I had to wipe it off. But overall, the cream went on really well, moisturized the board and preserved it. And you can see that the board looks pretty nice. Again, probably about an hour's worth of work. It was just overnight between the oil and the cream, and then overnight between the cream and this video, these images. So it looks really good. And then here's the comparison. You can see there really is no comparison. So now, since I made it for my mom, I just got to send it back to her.